What's up everybody, I'm Taylor with Rods and Mods. Welcome back to another episode of Playing Hooky, and today we get to talk about this pretty rare 2011 Shelby GT350. As you can tell, this probably doesn't look familiar to anything you guys have seen, especially for the younger guys. Probably have never seen one of these ever. And the reason for that is there was only 170 of these ever made in 2011. A lot of things that are just unique about this car, which we got a lot to cover. So make sure you get a drink that you like, maybe a snack, because it's going to be a fun time. We'll jump right into it. Starting basically, we'll just go front to rear. The front fascia is very distinct, very different than even the other GT500s you would have seen of this year. And because of that, this is a 45th anniversary car. So 1966, we had the first GT350. 45 years later in 2011, Carroll Shelby and Shelby American decided they're going to do another one. And this was the brainchild of that. As you can tell, on this front fascia here, this grille looks extremely similar to a 1966 car, and that's exactly why, is they've actually shaped the hood, the front fascia, to include that grille and that particular design. You go down here to these, what look to be fog lights, which is a lot of people would mistake them to be fog lights. These actually are not. These go right into the Shelby optioned brake ducts to cool down these six piston Baer brakes they're running on this car. To have a collector car already, but to have something that came with the option of brake ducts like a race car is just way cool. How could you hate it? Absolutely. The other thing that this one has, being a 2011 car, the thing that you guys will be more familiar with is this has the Gen 1 5-liter Coyote in it with a 2.3-liter supercharger on top. This one cranks out about 525 crank horsepower. A lot of fun in 2011, and still is a lot of fun now. Going back from that, you can see that this has got 19-inch Shelby branded Cragar forged wheels. That's 19-inch all the way around. Definitely makes it stand out, gives it definitely something to talk about. A lot of guys either love these wheels or a lot of guys don't love these wheels. Some other cool things with this car in 2011, they actually added 2 more different colors and stripe packages to the year. One would be race red with white stripe, and the other would be Kona blue with a white stripe. The other thing that's unique about these is these stripes and a lot of other Shelbys with a CSM number, and we'll get into that in a little bit. These carry a painted stripe package. These aren't stickers, they're paint. Pretty pricey option actually as well to have painted stripes on your Shelby. The other engine options would include a NA variant that got just a cold air intake and a tune, and that was the only way you could get an automatic transmission. Would have been a special order. If they do exist, they'd be extremely rare to have the supercharger and an automatic transmission, because they didn't make them like that from Shelby, making the 170 of these cars. Going back to the back fascia, the rear fascia I should say, you'll see a lot of other unique things like the inset taillights that they did by adding a different design ring around the taillight that actually pushes the whole bumper out further than you'd see on any other Mustang and any other Shelby at this time. Another crazy thing that you just can't miss is the custom center exit exhaust that's wild and gives this car a tone like nothing you've ever heard before. It's very unique. All right, we're going to go and take a walk around to this car, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it, and you get to see some other cool things that this car has that makes it so special. So we'll take a look at the hood that, as you can kind of see, shares a lot of similarity and pays homage to the 66 GT350s that had this same hood design on it. They brought that back for this car as well, because that was kind of the whole idea. They wanted to really encapsulate the first GT350 45 years later with this one. We'll walk around to the interior as well. You can see a lot of other things that came just on these cars was the Shelby American optioned stitching. It's got red stitching in it as well. It says GT350 in the seats, and the back seat headrest, it says Carroll Shelby on it. Also was optioned with the red, white, and blue piece there that you'll see. Carbon fiber pieces were added in the center console. Same thing with the plaque commemorating the GT350 and the 45th anniversary. The super special part there is the Shelby GT350 plaque with its CSM number and the number of it is. This is car number 46. The other thing that's always amazing, every one of us Shelby guys love to see, this has got Carroll Shelby's signature on the dash. This is one of 2 year variants that would be, unfortunately, the last cars that Carroll Shelby ever designed and actually had a hand in building himself. He was a part of this car. It was his ideas, his brainchild with his team, and this was one of the leading last cars that he would ever build. So we'll move on from that to the rear fascia. As we were talking about, you will see a lot of very distinct differences from the ducktail style spoiler to the rear fascia. These are metal badges done into the back fascia as well, or back bumper, same thing. They're made metal, Shelby. There's that really awesome center exit exhaust. It's my favorite. I myself haven't been around very many of these cars, and this will be one of the first ones I've got to actually hear run. And supposedly these have a very, very unique sound. And not only that, the D cell is supposed to sound and resemble a lot like the GT350s back then. So I'm super curious if it sounds like that. Hopefully we can get some good audio of it, and we'll have a lot of fun with it. It'll be great. We can continue around this side as well, because it's got aftermarket gauges on the pillar here as well. These are actually period correct and a nice touch. They're autometer gauges, but they are licensed and have Carroll Shelby on them as well. They're the carbon fiber backdrop. They're yellow. He's got his oil pressure, fuel oil pressure, and boost gauge on there. Yeah, and just those are some of the little things there. Okay, so we are out taking the GT350 out for a spin, playing a little hooky, and already immediately I'm in heaven. What a unique sounding incredible car. This thing, it sounds good. Yeah, these videos are gonna be pretty cool, guys. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So one of the things that I get asked a lot, being a very big Shelby fan, a lot of that is what makes a Shelby a real Shelby? Everybody always asks, so like, what's a real Shelby, what's not? So we'll get into talking about the CSM number. That stands for Carroll Shelby Manufacturing. A car that goes to Las Vegas, or it used to be in California as well, if it still is. That's where your Mustang would go to be built into whatever package Shelby offered at the time. So that's how this got its CSM number, being number 46, it was pre-ordered, went from Ford as a Mustang, very loosely, straight to Shelby American, and then they built it and retagged it as the GT350 and built it to what their 350 package was, which is what you see here today. Now, this is where it's a bunch of, I do it all as jokes, but there is a good part of you guys, and you'll have to make the decision on your own on what is real Shelby and what's not. Because a lot of the cars that you see on a Ford dealership or anything like that, or even today, we'll jump today, not 2011, was if you go see a 2020 Shelby GT500, it's going to have Shelby all over it, but it'll also probably have Ford Performance on it. That car of that year specifically was actually built by Ford and Ford Performance. Didn't necessarily ever go to Shelby. It never had a CSM number. Does that make it a real Shelby? I don't know. That's what you guys will have to decide. Because the other side of that is kind of difficult to not make it all a run on, but there's two differences there. Ford has to pay Shelby for the licensing, for the rights to use it, so Shelby American still makes money off of it, in order for Ford to be able to have the GT350 of the S550 platform and the GT500 on that S550 platform. Now, by the time you guys are seeing this video, you also have seen that the S650 now has a Shelby GT350. That car is different. Shelby American built that GT350, much like they built this one. It looks like a Mustang. It is a Mustang. It, by all accounts, for sake of argument, still has a Ford Mustang VIN number. But would this be more Shelby than your 2012 GT500 that you bought directly from your Ford dealership? Who's to say? Carroll Shelby loves them all. Mostly he just loves the ones that go out and enjoy these cars, drive them like we're doing today. He never really saw a line on that, and it actually wasn't until, I would say, the last 10 years or so, there actually has been that controversy of what makes it a real Shelby and what doesn't. There's a lot of value in that CSM number because that is a car that was built at Shelby American in Las Vegas, for example. It was built to that package for what they offered, and often came in a very limited number. That's why this one's so special. There's only 170 of these 2011 cars made, period, and you could not get them from your Ford dealership. You were pre-ordering them from Ford, and they were being sold and built through Shelby American. But what, it always just goes to that. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Do you think that if you have a 2012 or 2011 GT500, do you have less of a Shelby than this 2011 GT350 right now? Let me know. I'd be curious to see what you guys think. So, yeah, so this was our trip out with the GT350. We are gonna head back to the shop now and be following along for the dyno video because it's coming soon. And the butt dyno says this thing runs and runs really, really well. It's a lot of fun to drive. It's a very unique sounding car, as you guys will know from this one. And now we just got to find out what it puts to the ground and see if it's a GT350R, just to add to the cool factor and how much more special this car could get. Yeah, what a ride. I'm a Mustang guy at heart. Carroll Shelby is a huge influence on the reason why I love cars. Being able to enjoy something like this today is quite an honor. See you soon. So there you have it, everybody. That was this episode of Playing Hooky with this 2011 Shelby GT350. Hope you guys learned a lot. I'm still looking forward to hearing whether or not you believe if a Ford Shelby GT500, for an example, is still real, or if it has to have that CSM number to be a real Shelby. Very interested to see what you guys have to say. And stick around as always, because we're about to find out if this is a 350 with 525 crank horsepower, or if it's the 350R with 625 crank horsepower. Stick around.